You guys drinking or what?
Yeah, we just took a shot.
Right here.
Woo! Give me a shot.
Rolling through the varsity of warm box of Krispy Kreme. The bucket moon shining down on Peachtree. Fine women everywhere, like living in the fantasy. Children playing in the fountains of Olympic Park, hanging at the underground club, hopping at the dark. Atlanta, baby, ain't nobody above it. When Atlanta smiles, I love it.
Welcome back to the Black Atlas podcast. I want to start by thanking everyone who supported our first episode. We got a lot of love and support, and so thank you for that. And if you're in Atlanta, hit us up. Let us know how we can support you on the show. If today is your first time joining us, my name is Kwamea.
I am Asia.
And we are the Black Atlas here for episode 2. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our city trends. Asia, what happened in the city this week?
So there are several things that are happening in the city this week. We really want to start off a little bit political and take a look at Georgia Congressman Doug Collins, who was just extremely disrespectful to Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who we all know passed away due to pancreatic cancer. On Friday, September 18th, when we learned that she passed away, just hours later, he hopped on Twitter, just like his ignorant president hops on Twitter all the time. And he
I love how you said his. I'm going to point that out real quick. His ignorant president.
It's so natural that is not my president. Mm-hmm. But he actually, and I want to make sure I read this correctly, he tweeted out something extremely disrespectful hours after her passing, stating, RIP to more than 30 million innocent babies that have been murdered during the decades that Ruth Bader Ginsburg defended pro-abortion laws. With @real Donald Trump nominating a replacement that values human life, generations of unborn children have a chance to live. And it really disappoints me that 84,000 people like this. Like,
I ain't even peeped that.
84,000 people like this tweet. So it's a huge thing because he has not apologized for the statement. In fact, he actually doubled down on the statement in a video clip that we're going to show you shortly, where he stands by everything that he says and more.
My tweet was simply, sometimes in life there's this polite and then there's just the truth. And this was just the truth.
Just hours
I'm sorry. Y'all see that big Trump bus in the back with thumbs up?
Georgia Congressman Doug Collins sent shockwaves across the political world with just a few strokes of his keypad. After his tweet, we caught up with the congressman in Hall County. Some have even claimed you were celebrating her death. What would you say to them?
Well, there was nowhere in there where I was celebrating a death. I was making a statement of life. She passed away, but her legacy is also one that we have fought my whole life against, and we hope that the president will reverse that.
It just really frustrates me because his response sounded so well prepared. Like, you knew people were going to ask you about this because what you said was so off the wall, to the point that you had a prepared statement for when people asked you this. So I really don't want to give too much time to him.
Before we move on, though, I will say I did a little bit of research about him. I just was interested to see how he's voted throughout the years. And most recently, when it came to the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act of 2020, he voted no. And I wanted to read some of the few things that were a part of this bill. One, authorizes an individual to file a complaint against law enforcement agency when using improper use of body cams and deadly force. And they actually define deadly force. Something else that was also interesting to me was that this bill would require the Attorney General to provide training for law enforcement when dealing with pregnant individuals, children and youth under the age of 21, elderly persons, and those with mental issues. And he voted no against this. So I just think it's interesting that someone
Support life.
Exactly. You want to talk about all these lives that are lost, but you cannot protect the lives that are here. I'm not here for it. We moving on.
I'm glad you added that. And along with adding, unfortunately, Angela Stanton King, also Republican, who has been nominated to fill John Lewis's seat or running for John Lewis's seat, came back and tweeted some other ignorance as well. Just think of all the people that will now live that Ruth Ginsburg has died and can't vote for them to be aborted.
My God.
My thing is, everyone has the right to their opinion. You don't have to be pro-life, pro-choice. However, it should be an unwritten rule. I think it already is that when someone passes, you give their family time to grieve. you don't talk about the dead because they're not here to back themselves up or defend themselves. So to not only have Doug Collins, but then to come back with Angela King is just extreme disrespect to Ruth Bader Ginsburg for all that she did.
Right. And she really did a lot. You know, she was in the Supreme Court for, was it 27 years?
Yep.
27 years. And she made great strides for women's rights. There's a tweet that we want to read out. Things RBG has done for women. This blew my mind. The right to sign a mortgage without a man. The right to have a bank account without a male co-signer. The right to have a job without being discriminated based on gender. And the right for women to be pregnant and work at the same time. The way that this country treats women and devalues women speaks a lot to why we are in the place that we are. So with that, we want to say big, big respect to RBG. Thank you for everything that you have done for us, and rest in peace and power. So what's next on our city trends?
So we're going to lighten the mood a little bit and move forward beyond that into an Atlanta woman that has launched a program called the Free 99 Fridge to fight local hunger. So a lot of respect going out to Letitia Springer, who launched this community fridge this summer, actually. So the way that it works is that people in the community are able to drop off fresh food and produce, non-perishables for anyone that they know might need access to it. So we all know free 99. Usually when something's free 99, it was discounted. Or
finesse.
Yeah, a little finesse. But this is the positive side of free 99. So she just launched her first fridge at Best End Brewery, which is located in
The West End.
If you can't tell, we have a love for the West End because they do a lot for Black people, Black naturals, Black culture. But they also helped out Letitia with Best End Brewing opening up. She has 7 more community locations that are also out there. And we want you all, if you would like, to donate to @Free99Fridge, @Free99Fridge. And just give what you can. You can either Cash App or you can Venmo, but do what you can to support the Free 99 Fridge and to support the great work that Letitia Springer is doing for the community.
Ashe. And like we said, it takes a village for every child and every person. So thank you for what you're doing, Letitia. So next up, we have I don't want to say little ratchetry. It's not ratchet. Y'all know I love my ratchetry. But no, I thought this was rude. So Lil Baby did not invite his baby mama to his child's birthday party.
So I'm actually really excited to talk about this because I think we might have a differing of opinions because you stated, you came off like, this is rude, right? Okay, so I'm excited for this.
Okay, bet. Get into it.
So Atlanta rapper Lil Baby and his girlfriend Jada recently threw their little one a birthday party. His 5-year-old son just had a birthday. They turned up. The biggest part of it is that once they posted a photo on social media showing this celebration, then the child's mother, Aisha, also took to social media. And Aisha was showing her frustration for this party that occurred without her presence. So she stated on social media, says, the most important thing to co-parenting is coming together, doing what's best for the child. Never would I ever plan a birthday party for my son without acknowledging and inviting his father. And never would I allow a man I date to plan a party for his child without acknowledging and inviting the mother. It's childish, petty, and will affect the child in the long run. Bad enough, kids are being raised in single-parent homes. The least y'all could do is be adult enough to come together on a special occasion, but y'all petty and ain't ready for that level of maturity. I'm torn.
Okay, why are you torn?
I'm very torn because I understand the ideals of co-parenting as a step parent that has to throw either multiple parties for our little one or we come together and do a cohesive one. So in the earlier stages, would we have done separate parties? Yes, we did. Because it was better or to our knowledge, it was better for our little one to have it seem very copacetic. No one's arguing, things like that. You get 2 parties. So it was how we phrased it. I think that's the biggest part about this is what did Lil Baby say to his child and the explanation for why your mother's not here.
That's true.
So that's kind of where I'm coming from is we're all immediately like, oh man, that was so wrong. But what is it like when you all are together? Would that have made the child happier if you guys are cursing each other out? If you're standing off to the side, throwing shade? Would it have been better to have 2 separate parties?
That's a really good point. And I totally respect that point. I just think perhaps maybe let her know. You know, I think there's that whole element of surprise that I would have been taken aback by. But of course, like you said, peace is the most important thing in any home, especially for a child. So
definitely get it. I understand her frustration. It was wrong. And as you said, he should have told her or at least invited so they can come to some sort of common ground. But, you know, rappers. And speaking of rappers, we're going to move to another Atlanta rapper, 2 Chainz. Yes. Okay. Yes. 2 Chainz, y'all. I frequently get 2 Chainz and Future mixed up.
What?
Which is bad because I know I like one of them and I don't like the other.
okay, wait, hold on. Who don't you like?
Future. What you
okay,
mean?
I'm not gonna lie. I like 2 Chainz more than Future.
Okay.
You don't like Future at all?
I don't
Future
like
kinda
him as
fell
a
off.
person.
Okay,
I
that's
like
cool.
his music. I don't like his choices as a person, which is why I'm glad we're highlighting 2 Chainz rather than Future. So College Park's own 2 Chainz had something called Feed Your City Challenge here in Atlanta last week. The challenge was created to help feed communities that are in need around the country, especially during the pandemic, because so many people have been impacted negatively, and especially those gaps are huge in low-income communities. So his event provided fresh groceries as well as protective supplies like face masks, gloves, hand sanitizer to about 4,500 people in the community.
That's a lot of people.
So I think this is hugely important for us to acknowledge because we don't give 2 Chainz specifically as much credit as he should for the work that he's doing. But I think in general, rappers, we don't give them as much credit because we...
Like Ludacris.
Oh,
that man is moving.
Yes.
Been moving.
Yes.
When I move, you move.
Just like that.
Y'all, we going back to Africa is what I'm saying.
So it's just hugely amazing and really exciting to see rappers using their platform to make a big deal. And it's not that rappers haven't been doing this. We know T.I. does a lot for the community, but I'm really glad that 2 Chainz is also hopping on that wagon and that we get the opportunity to highlight what he's doing here.
Agreed.
So while that was a very short city trends, a lot of things popping off, but we do want to move forward into our next amazing segment, which is BBW.
I like my girls BBW.
So Kamea, let's hop on in. Can you tell us who our Black Business of the Week is going to be?
All right, Asia. So our BBW this week is my sister and our special guest, Miss Ebony Q.
Okay.
Ebony is a sacred womb keeper. So that basically means that she provides services that help strengthen your yoni. One of the main ones that she does is a yoni steam. If you're not familiar with the yoni steam, it's an ancient practice that women have been doing for generations. You essentially squat over a pot that has some herbs in it, and you can match the herbs to what you need. So there are herbs for postpartum, there are herbs for menstrual pains, because sometimes your cycles can be heavy, and so it helps to lighten them and cleanse out the yoni. You can do yoni steams if you have had miscarriages, things like that. So it can help release fibroids. And if you ever have like a disruption in your menstrual cycle, it can help bring out the flow. If you have old blood, things like that. So it's just generally a really great thing for women, and it feels really good. And it's a great way to treat yourself. So she has a special this month for $100. You get a yoni steam, a Reiki session, and a castor oil detox. If you're not familiar with Reiki, it's another ancient practice. I've never actually had a Reiki session, but I'm looking forward to mine with Ebony. It's a way to move energy through the body, through sound. I believe there's some touching that happens, but it just is moving energy throughout your chakras. So all those things collectively, I think that you just would come out refreshed and feeling like such a goddess. So hit up Ebony Q on Instagram. It's _ Ebony Q, the sacred womb keeper. And that's our BBW of the week. We're going to go ahead and get into our tea leaf discussion. Today, we're going to talk about motherhood. But before we get started, I wanted to shout out some of my favorite moms on Instagram, local moms, starting out with my auntie, Susie Sadler. If you are ever interested, she is a fitness guru. I mean, you can't see in this picture, but she got the abs, baby. Body banging. Every Saturday, follow her on Instagram. Next is going to be my other auntie, Auntie Sophie. Beautiful. So gorgeous. She laid my first ever tracks. They were nice. Thank you, girl. Appreciate you. She is the mother of 3 beautiful young girls. Next, we have a good friend of mine, Sydney Porter. She is the mother of baby Faya. Just all around a natural mommy. So thank you for all that you're doing. And last but not least is our very special guest, Miss Ebony Q. We want to give a shout out to you as a mother, sister. I had the pleasure of meeting your boys the other day, Amir and Ali. They are absolutely beautiful.
That's a beautiful name.
Yes.
So, Amir means prince. Yep. It's a beautiful name.
Ashay. So thank you for joining us. I want to start by asking you, we're going to get into motherhood a little later, but I know that you work as a sacred womb keeper. Could you explain to everyone what that work entails?
So technically as women, we're all sacred womb keepers. So basically, if you break down the definition of to keep something, for one is to not get rid of it, to hold it, to cherish it, to nourish it. But also, if you think of keeper of jewels, for example, you know what's in it, you know where everything is, you know when something's out of place. So with that being said, we're all womb keepers. And as I coined the term sacred womb keeper, I feel like one of my purposes here is to basically allow women to see that they are womb keepers, to see their womb as something to be kept.
I respect that a lot.
That is such a beautiful answer. And I think that it empowers women to take up that right for themselves rather than giving it away to someone else, especially a white man in a white coat. Okay?
Exactly.
All right. So
It has to be said.
I'm just going to say it. I want to ask you, it's actually really funny. We were at the park the other day at Tuesday Tune-Up, 5 p.m. Weston Park, every Tuesday. And you were about to get up and dance. And I think it was Ali who was like, Mommy, don't move your booty.
Yeah, it was Ali.
I was like, Ali, your mama is a Black woman.
Right,
Okay?
I can't help
She
it.
moves when she walks.
Yeah, so exactly. So can you tell us about your sons?
So they are amazing. They are twins.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, born in October, so balance. And it has just been a journey. They teach me so much every day.
How old are they?
They will be 4.
So how old were you when you gave birth?
Good question. How old am I now? So I will be 20. I'm coming up on 28. So I guess I was 24.
Okay. And so a lot of women talk about whether or not they're ready. Did you feel ready when you had children? Okay.
I did not feel ready.
Okay.
Yeah. It's quite interesting because I do this womb work because I have a journey of my own of healing my womb. And so, interestingly enough, earlier that year, I was told that there was a possibility that I could not have children. And so that bothered me a bit. But then I came into this whole plant-based journey, and then I changed the way I was eating, started exercising more. I've always been into fitness, but that was just kind of, it was the beginning of the year, January. I was like, okay, I'm finally going to give up my mama's macaroni and cheese. I'm going to take it seriously for my health. And then next thing you know, I went to the doctor, and she was just like, oh, you're having a baby. And, oh, look, there's another one. I was like, another what? So.
But think about how powerful that is to be told that same year that you might not be fertile, can't, and then it's like, ha ha ha.
Right. Yeah.
You
And
thought
Creator blessed you with two.
like 2 healthy babies, because
Right.
even with twins, that wasn't guaranteed, and you have 2 healthy little boys. Like, that's awesome. And that also is awesome for what you did for yourself and for your body to be able to turn it around. So I have nothing but respect for that. I'm really going to talk to you after this, because I'm determined to have twins.
Oh.
So their names will be Yuri and Yara.
Okay, yes,
I'm ready
plenty.
for
You
it,
better
okay?
manifest your babies.
So let me know.
Yes.
So I'm going to be taking some notes.
Okay.
Yes. So I want to ask you said you didn't feel ready at the time. Was there anything that you did to help prepare yourself? Like, how does someone prepare themselves for motherhood?
Oh, that is a good question. Like I said, I did not feel ready at the time. But at some point, it just clicked. Like, it just clicked in, because I was actually afraid that maybe I wouldn't be a good mother. I never saw myself as actually at the time, I didn't see myself as being very nurturing. So I didn't know. I was like, and there's 2.
And you are so nurturing with those boys. Like, seeing y'all together, you're so nurturing with them.
Yeah, so now knowing that about myself, and through the process, I've learned that about myself, and it's just been like an innate thing It's come very natural for me. But at the time, I felt like I don't know how to do this. And then all of a sudden, you start changing what you eat. You start paying attention to what you eat simply because you know they need these nutrients. Just everything shifts. Your body becomes this oven. It becomes this.
You're cooking.
Yeah, cooking. Yeah. So everything shifted in that manner. But if I could do it all over again, or not even do it all over again, but for my next daughter, because I'm manifesting that.
Yes, daughter. Come on. We got twins. We got a daughter. Bring them on. Yes.
I would just say making sure like your tribe understands what you need. Yeah, making sure your tribe understands what you need. You definitely need assistance. And being open to that. I would say think about how you're gonna eat. Like think about these things before you have kids. Even if you can meal prep, have someone meal prep for you. Just really prepare yourself in that way. It's not so much as to preparing to have a baby, but I think the hardest thing was after, after having
once the baby's
baby.
here.
Yeah,
and they need, and they're alive, and they constantly need.
Yeah. So what made that most difficult? I mean, I know obviously now you got 2 babies, but like, was there anything in particular for you that you had difficulty with?
Support in general, just having a community who's willing to like, what is it that you need?
Yeah.
And also I would say not losing yourself in the process, like understanding like, I have to shower today. Can someone please help me so that I can shower today? Just simple things like that. I do have to eat today, especially, I mean, in general, but breastfeeding, you know? So those things, making sure you're hydrating. So you have to make sure you're okay too as a mother. And I could say on my journey, I definitely forgot about myself. And I wasn't getting enough rest, and I was just trying to make sure they had everything they needed. And in the process of that, I wasn't getting what I needed. So I think that's very important for even if you have friends who are mothers, new mothers, just reminding them that it's okay to rest. It's okay to eat. It's okay to do. It's okay to put on makeup. Get pretty today.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like it's really important to just stay. Keep a good relationship with yourself.
But you've touched on 2 really pivotal, I think, points that you've mentioned today. Because earlier you said you didn't know if you were ready to be a good mother, and that stood out to me. Were the words "good mother," and then the part that you just said where we forget about ourselves. I think those 2 go hand in hand, is because people assume that to be a good mother, your whole world is now your children, and you no longer become the center of your world. And I think that that's a shift that a lot of us need to change.
Yes.
Because your kids, you were here before your kids came. When your kids become independent, you will still be here. And what are you going to do when you no longer have that thing that you've now made the most important thing in your life when they become free? And now you're an empty nester, but you're also empty because your entire life was your child.
Exactly.
So I'm really glad that you brought that up, because that's one thing. Like for me, I'm not a mom, but I'm a stepmom. And I think for me, it's always trying to be like, well, what does a good stepmom look like? How involved should I be? What should I be doing? And like always trying to make, her feel important, because I don't want you to be like, ooh, she's an evil stepmom. So then I try to throw my whole life into you. So I'm so glad that you brought that up, because I think so many women need to hear that. Like the word good is up to you, and what makes it, as long as your child feels safe, feels loved, and has a roof and food, you're a good mom. Everything else is just how you choose to parent.
Exactly.
And I think that's what a lot of people need to understand.
Exactly. And then there's this quote that I see circulating, and I always refer back to it. Your children don't need a good mom. They need a happy one.
Amen.
And it is true.
That is so real. That is so real.
Because that's
and it's
what
not just right. That's what they remember. It's a happy mom and dad.
For
they need a happy home.
Yes.
Right. And so when you choose yourself first, you create a happy home, and your children grow up in that happy home.
Exactly.
And happy doesn't mean perfect.
Exactly.
But there's peace in the home, and that's really important. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you too, Asia.
Yes,
I wanted to ask you, I love the dynamic of motherhood that we have, the varieties. Can you share you shared a little bit about it, being a stepmom, but what has that been like for you?
I think stepmothers, and this is truly just my perspective, I think stepmoms get a bad rep, and they get a bad rep from society. So you think about every Disney Channel movie, every Disney movie that's out there, every fairy tale, it's the evil stepmom.
That's
it's
very
never,
true.
ooh, my stepmom is awesome. My stepmom loves me, support. She's always bad. Right. Or she was the one that broke up your house. Or she's the reason that like you don't get all the time with your dad. It's because of the stepmom. So I think for me, I've known my stepdaughter since she was 1 year old. And so that is just an added benefit that I never was a random woman coming into her life trying to play the role. I think I lucked up on that with like, I was here before I was ever girlfriend, before I was ever wife. You just knew me as a nice friend to your dad. And so I think I had the luxury of that transition into a stepmom role because we already had a relationship. And I don't think that that's the case for most women that end up being stepmothers. They usually come after the child, after the mom, whatever the fallout. So for me, it's been a very interesting course. I try to stay in my lane for the most part and just be there for my little one and for my husband. Her mom and I actually have a great relationship, but that is something that came over time throughout the years. But I will say the biggest thing for me as a stepmom and to other stepmoms or girlfriends, respect the mother. That's a huge thing for me is because one way or another, I might be wife now, but I could always be divorced. That little girl's not going anywhere. And so if she's not going anywhere, mom's not going anywhere. So respect the mother and respect the mother by never trying to be the child's mom, but be the child's step-parent. Be the child's girlfriend of the father. Like assume your role and stay in that position and just always come with a kindness. Like always try to assume the best intentions, even from the mom. She might not have the best intentions depending on the day, but assume the best because no woman is out there like, be evil to my child. Treat my child disrespectfully. Like no one wants that. So why would you assume that position? Exactly. So that's always where I try to come from. Probably not the greatest stepmom, probably not the worst, but I just try to be whatever my version of the best is.
Ashay. I think that's really important. And it's reminding me that women are naturally nurturers. And so even if you aren't a mother, there's a chance for you to come into a space with divine feminine energy. So long as you carry that in yourself, in your womb. As we said earlier, the womb is the storekeeper of your thoughts, your actions, and your emotions.
So another question that we wanted to ask about you, just with the climate of the way that the world is moving, the way that America has always been, what is it specifically to raise Black children as a Black mom in this country?
That is so interesting that you asked that because that was a huge part of my journey as well. I was pregnant during 2016. As we all know, the climate was very hot during that time. And there was a bit of fear of finding out that I am carrying 2 Black boys and bringing them into this world. And so all I can do as a mother is give them what I can give them, teach them what I can, which is why I choose to homeschool, is because I want to instill things that can really help to benefit them and help them to not only survive, but to thrive out in this world. And I can't thank my community enough as well. The men that are in their lives, especially shout out to the West End community.
Yes, come on, West End.
Yes.
None like
who
the
have
West
been
End.
able to make me feel secure in what it is that I can offer to my boys. Teaching them just how to protect themselves, how to sustain themselves, entrepreneurship, things like that. That's all I can possibly do. I cover them, of course. Like, I cover them. I cover my boys. I pray for my boys.
Ashay.
And I can't have fear in my heart. I can't keep that. I can't keep that frequency brewing. I just have to speak life into them and give life to them. That's all I can do as a mother. So,
you're doing a phenomenal job, and I haven't even met them. And I just know from your energy you are. So.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. Thank you to those brothers that you spoke of, because like you said, it takes community. It isn't just women, it's men and women. We need each other.
We do.
And it's important for our boys to grow up with men and our women to grow up with men, our girls to grow up with men. So that just touches my heart. That just touches my heart.
And shout out to Sister Noni at the core.
I
Total
love
wellness.
Sister Noni. Hold up.
Yes.
My journey really started with Sister Noni. I'm not even kidding you. I remember the day I went to go see her. Oh my God. I was weak. I was hurting. I'm going to be honest. I was hurting. And I laid down for like a sound healing session. she put a sound bowl over me. And it went crazy in my stomach. And I was having some problems there. And it just went crazy. She gave me some herbs, cascara sagrada. I started doing comedic yoga. I mean, my life turned around the day I met Sister Noni at the core in East Point. So stop playing. Go and see Sister Noni. She has a nail salon, a hair salon, vegan food.
She's right across from the train station.
Literally right across
from her before.
I see
several times. So I'm not going, but I've heard of Sister Noni several times.
Yes, she does house blessings. Yes to that. Ashe to our community. Let's go, Atlanta.
Yes. And Sister Noni told me, she said, you can't do everything yourself. She said, it takes community. She said, the people around you, they should have a skill that maybe you aren't so strong in. And that's who teaches your child. You can't be everything. Even a mom and dad can't be everything. That's why the aunts and the uncles and the cousins and everyone is necessary in order to help these children thrive.
Takes a village.
Yes, and they've really removed us from the village. We don't live in villages anymore.
No.
We barely know our neighbors. You know? So let's get back to village as much as possible. One last question before we wrap it up. I do want to know, what is your favorite part about being a mother?
What is my favorite part about being a mother? They are my friends. It's the relationship. Honestly, they teach me something every day. Like, for one, like how forgiving they are, you know? So not only are they my friends, but they are my teachers. Yeah, and we joke around, we play. They have their own personalities. It's literally a relationship. And that's another thing I want mothers to understand, is they came through you. Like, you don't have possession over them. Let them be themselves.
Well, Ebony, I just met you today, and I'm thoroughly impressed by you. I'm impressed by you as a human, as a mother, but just well-rounded. You have a lot of good things that I think people need to hear from you.
Thank you.
And not only the things that you're saying, but the way that you're executing and living your life following the things that you're saying. So I just have a lot of respect for you, and I'm grateful that you came and spoke with us today. So thank you.
Ashe, you know I feel the same way. Since the moment I met you, since I saw you move, I knew it. Just the way that spirit moves you, and the way that you move through spirit, it's absolutely incredible to watch. So I'm so glad to call you a sister, and I'm glad I met Ali and Amir. They're such beautiful boys.
Thank you.
Yes, so that concludes our Tea Leaf segment. Thank you for that, Ebony.
And so we're going to move right along to our next segment, known as What the Health.
I feel great. I feel amazing today.
Yes, so our What the Health segment this week is focusing on women's health. And I actually want to start with a quote by Queen Afua. She says, "The condition of women's wombs also directly reflects the conditions of women's minds, spirits, and actions. The womb is a storehouse of all of our emotions." I think that's such a powerful quote. And that speaks to the necessity of cleansing the whole body, but particularly the womb. And so our health pointer for today is red raspberry leaf. It's one of my favorite herbs. We are actually sipping on it today.
I was just sipping on it. I was literally sipping to y'all.
Yes. We actually blended it with hibiscus today. Hibiscus is really great for high blood pressure, for lowering your blood pressure. But back to red raspberry. So red raspberry is considered one of the most essential herbs for women. It's really great for children also. So red raspberry is really high in manganese content and iron content, and it helps strengthen the uterus. And you know that's really important for supporting a child. It can also help ease pain, menstrual pains, and can also help women produce breast milk. So there are lots and lots of benefits. If your child has a stomach ache, you can give them red raspberry, and it's really sweet. It tastes really good. You can find it at Seven Under, and I actually just got word that Wadadas, my favorite
in the West
spot.
End.
Y'all know I love Wadadas.
I was there last week.
Yes, and Ebony, our special guest, is actually going to be working at the herbal section. So they have all types of herbs, A to Z. So go to Wadadas, get your red raspberry, ladies, and drink it as much as you can.
And I want to add that, like, you mentioned how sweet it is. When Kwame was actually making this today, she asked me, did I want honey in mine? And I said no to it, but genuinely, I don't drink tea without sweetener. And there's nothing in this right now. and I'm still drinking it. So that really is like praise to how good this is because I keep sipping it. So thank you. And this is red raspberry and
hibiscus.
Okay.
Yes. So that concludes the What the Hell segment for the week. Ladies, go ahead and get your red raspberry. We're going to move on to our Lift Every Voice segment.
Lift every voice and sing.
Asia, who are we featuring this week?
The voice that we're going to be lifting up this week is an artist by the name of Kaya Lacey. She is an R&B singer originally from Nashville, Tennessee, but we'll take her because she's rapping the A right now. So super excited. Today we're going to be listening to a acapella version of her song Ghost that she recently put out. So let's take a listen.
Oh no. Why is it so hard for me to understand you now? Why is it so hard for me to go away now? Suddenly, don't need to be alone in front of me.
I love her.
In front of me. Don't need to be down. Don't need to be alone. Couldn't wait to get into me. Holding on to me and say my name aloud. Now, not anymore in front of me. I see, wondering when you call me out. So far away right now. You walk away when I needed someone.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love that. Kaya, I love her so much. I will say she throws a great party in Atlanta called Not My First Rodeo.
Okay.
I have never thrown so much ass, y'all. Go to Not My First Rodeo. Put your face mask on and go throw some ass.
So
she
I'm
knows
glad
how
you
to throw
said
a good
that,
party.
Because literally I'm thinking, while I was listening, I was like, I know this is R&B, but everything in my spirit was trying not to twerk.
Yeah.
Like I started like,
Yeah.
I just, I'm like,
Suddenly.
and I was like, okay, this is R&B, it's not twerk. But
Yeah.
I get that vibe from her.
Yeah.
Like, I loved her because she was just so naturally elegant. Like, for that to be such a simple scene, it was so impactful. And that was my first time actually listening to Kaya. So on everything, I'm going to go listen to her.
For sure.
And turn it up. And you said that this was a cover. So that tells me that there's another version that I need to go listen to.
She also has a really great song with local artist Love After. It's called Red Light District. Let me tell y'all, they did that bang. It's sexy. I can't wait for the music video to come out. So shout out to you, Kaya Lacey. You know I love you, girl. Continue to support you. I'm ready for the next rodeo. It's not my first one, baby.
Amen.
Let's get into it.
So we are lifting up Kaya Lacey. Now that we've lifted her up, you guys go check her out. All right, you guys. So that wraps up episode 2 of Black Atlas. We are super excited that you guys decided to join us once again for our second week, and we're so grateful that you guys are following us.
Yes, continue to follow and support. And once again, let us know how we can support you here in Atlanta.
And please don't forget to follow Atlanta Decoded. And you can follow each of us on our own personal accounts. Mine is Mrs._Motivate with an 8.
And I am Creole Griot Productions. Also, be sure to follow our special guest, _Ebony Q. Ebony, once again, thank you so much for joining us. Looking forward to more special guests.
And we'll see you next time on Black Atlas.